Welcome back to 52 Moments, where I answer things like,
Tell me about your childhood.
or,
What is your malfunction?
or even,
Why are you so wonderful and magical?
as best I can. Along the way, I hope you'll learn more about me. So let's get to it. Welcome back. This episode is called All I Want for Christmas. And it's about that one toy that I wanted. And it was the only toy that I wanted. And I made my parents miserable that year. Yeah. So I was born in 1969 in June. In September of that year, Sesame Street debuted. So at some point between learning to crawl and learning to watch a TV, my parents started letting me watch Sesame Street. So I was very familiar with all the Muppets, but my favorite was Mr. Snuffleupagus. Aloysius Snuffleupagus, specifically. If you're familiar with Sesame Street now, you will know that Snuffleupagus or Snuffy is just part of the Muppet crowd. But when he first debuted, only Big Bird could see him. It wasn't that he was invisible, but he always just seemed to appear when Big Bird was around and not anyone else. Sometimes the kids would see him, but the grown-ups never ended up in the same place. As a kid, I thought that was hilarious. I would giggle when, it was very slapstick in the way that, the same way that you see that gag from like Keystone Cops, where they're in a long hallway full of doors and people keep going in and out of opposite doors and that sort of thing. It's just that kind of gag, that long running gag. But at some point, child psychologists decided that no, it felt more like the adults weren't believing the kids about Snuffy. And in a world where stranger danger was a potential problem, they kind of had to let him be seen. But my Snuffleupagus will always be the one who just walked out of frame before Mr. Hooper walked into frame. So I couldn't have been more than 4, maybe 5. I know my brother was born, which means I was over 3. But how much, I don't know. I suspect 4, because I was a pretty cranky little kid. That year, all I wanted for Christmas was a Snuffleupagus doll. This one here. Um, yay big. It's really like it was a plush doll. I knew it exists. It's all I wanted. It's like literally, it's what I asked Santa for. It's what I asked Grandpa for. It's what I asked my parents for. Like everyone got the same thing. I just want Snuffleupagus. Now, as a kid, our Christmases always worked the same. My family would open up our presents after my grandparents had got there. And then all of us would go over to my grandparents where there was another tree with more presents. And we would open gifts there. And there was meals in between and everything else. But just the key point is 2 Christmas trees every year. So that year, I sat down at the first Christmas, very eager, expecting every gift to be Snuffleupagus. And when I got to the bottom of the tree and all the gifts were given out and there was no Snuffleupagus, I started crying because I was pretty sure Santa was mad at me and I was insisting that I had been a good kid. I hadn't, smothered the baby or anything else weird. So therein started the tantrum. And I cried all the way to my grandparents' house. Now, my grandparents left before we did so that they could get back to their house and frantically figure out which freaking box had that doll in. So when we arrived, it was the front box on the tree. And I was still sobbing and crying and carrying on. And I'm pretty sure my mother just plonked me on the floor in front of the Christmas tree with this box in front of me. And I don't think I even had the wherewithal to start opening it until either, I don't know, my grandparents or my mother or someone started helping me tear it open. When I first saw that Sesame Street logo on the package box inside, everything just, and then and then I just wanted that doll out. And so I'm still crying and practically hyperventilating, but now it's happy joy. And my parents managed to extract this doll from the packaging. Now, this was earlier, this was early 70s, mid 70s, maybe. So there wasn't quite as much anti-theft packaging as you find now. So it was probably a matter of some tape and maybe one twist tie. Anyway, pulled him out, handed him to me. I didn't care what else was under the tree. Like, I literally didn't open any other gifts. My parents did the rest. They just opened them and cataloged them and showed me and said, and I was like, and I just kept cuddling Snuffy. And I slept with that doll for years and years and years and years, even when I was married. Because it's a really comfortable size to I'm a side sleeper, so resting my arm on the side means my arm isn't all the way down and I'm not like hunching my shoulders like some poorly postured human. So after I left my marriage, I lost track of the doll, and I don't know at what point I realized I didn't have Snuffy. So I mourned for a while, and then I just sort of got over it. And then one day, about 2 years ago, I was clearing some stuff out of my mother's storage locker, and there was a box with my name on it. And I opened it, and there on the top was Snuffy. And I cried again, because this was like the best gift I could get from my childhood. And I still have him. He's really rough, worse for wear. You can see how worn out the paws are. The eyes are all cracked, the eyebrows, everything is just, and this one had his mouth sewn on upside down. So like he's supposed to do this, but instead he's like, it's all wrong. But I have my Snuffy. This thing is a wreck, but it's my doll, and I still have him, and I still sleep with him. I have other stuffed animals, but this one's the most important because it was all I wanted for Christmas when I was 4. It's kind of still all I want some days. So now you know another thing about me. I hope you come back again. Bye.